Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Pulse of the Ring. And I have the individual who is the man, who is the king of Fatjitsu. So, ladies and gentlemen, K.Toomer!
What's good, man? What's happening?
Not much, nothing much. Just enjoying this day off before I have to go back to the shoot job. But it is what it
Man, I
is.
feel you on that.
So I'm gonna
I feel
jump
you
right
on that,
into it.
man.
How did you get into professional wrestling?
Man, in all honesty, I was bored. um, man, where I live, man, I live in Little Rock, Arkansas, man. It's stuff to do here, but it ain't stuff to do here.
Mhm.
And I was at a low point in life, man. Had dropped out of college, just moved back up here from Florida. Um, and it was literally nothing to do. And man, I'm a hip hop head. So one day I was online, man. We was talking about something. It might have been a dumb post like, "Who's the best rapper?" Ludacris, or Lil Wayne, or Eminem, and somebody. And it
Mhm.
was one guy. It was like really going back and forth. And every time I said something, he had something that was right there in line to argue. It was the perfect argument for everything I was saying. So
Mhm.
I was like, man, who the hell is this dude, man? Let me find out who this dude is. Clicked on his page, and he was standing in the ring holding the title belt. And then I looked at his profile and saw that he lived in my area. And so I just messaged him like, hey, man, I see you wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan. Where y'all do this at? He told me. I showed up, and they was like, hey, you want to get in the ring? I'm like, yeah. Got in the ring. They showed me how to run the ropes and take a few bumps, and they were like, "Hey man, your big ass can move. What you trying to do?" And I just needed something to do, man, to get me
Mhm.
out of my funk, and I just stuck with it.
And like I've seen you. The first time I actually saw you was on Twitter, and it was a highlight clip of yours, and I was like, "Oh damn, big man can move!"
Uh-huh.
Like it reminds me of like Bigelow,
Yep.
Yokozuna, and all them, the really big men who nobody really thought was athletic. But I don't know if you watch anime, but you definitely the Choji
Oh
of
yeah.
independent wrestling.
Oh for sure. Man, those people that you named, those are guys that I study, man. Bam Bam, Big Boss Man, heavily slept on.
Hmm.
If you go back and watch anything from Big Boss Man, like how smooth and how crisp he was in the ring, like it's crazy. But what had me hooked, I know this finna sound crazy, but what had me hooked, when I was a kid, man, my grandpa he hated us, but he was an old military vet, and but what he did was he had a pen pal from the military that lived in Japan, and he used to send us these tapes, and
Mm.
the tapes were like the old classic wrestling from like the 70s, 80s, early 90s, and everything. Now back then I was a kid, and of course we was in the Power Rangers boom. So you had Power Rangers, Ultraman, Mega Man, anything on Tatsu or anything dealing with Sentai, um, Senpai. That's what we was on real tough. Now at the time when when it was time for my grandpa to watch the wrestling tapes, we would take those tapes out and we put in like classic Japanese wrestling, Super Junior, Super 8 tournaments. So I'm seeing people like Black Tiger, Eddie Guerrero, seeing people like Ultimo Guerrero, Ultimo Dragon. I used to get those Jushin Thunder Liger. I used to get those people or those characters confused with
Hmm.
what I was seeing from the cartoons because I was a kid. I was like 5, maybe 6 at the time. I ain't know no better. But what had me hooked, like I said, I know this is gonna sound crazy. Everybody talks about the Rocks, the Austins, the Undertakers, and all of that stuff. What had me hooked as a kid was our reception for TNN was so bad, we thought Taz was black. And it was something about the program with Taz and Bam Bam Bigelow and Candido and Shane Douglas that just had me hooked more than anything else because it felt more real than anything else. Now going back looking at it, you can see how super cheesy some of it was.
Yeah.
But back then as a kid, it was like, oh man, that's how I gotta be.
I remember because I first started watching wrestling The first wrestling thing I remember actually is HBK kicking Bret Hart when he was in a wheelchair.
Yep.
That's the first memory of like actually watching wrestling. And then
Hmm.
and then I was hooked from there. Like every week I had the old school TV. So TNT was channel 35, USA was 39. So I'm just
Yep.
do 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 do
Right
do.
back. Right back.
And
Every commercial
like
break.
fell in love with professional wrestling as a whole. Honestly, I tell people all the time, I didn't know about independent wrestling until I started wrestling in 2016. No, 14. Yeah, 2014. Like,
Mhm.
I looked up and down for like independent wrestling, but it was really hard. I'm from Indiana, so it was just really hard to find independent wrestling in Indiana. And how is it finding independent wrestling in Arkansas right now?
Man, so right now, believe it or not, Arkansas is kind of like in the cusp of beginning a wrestling boom. And what ended up happening is, and everybody's gonna have similar stories. Um, you come in, of course, you're working under some veterans. You're working, and I'm saying this as disrespectfully as I can. You coming in some situations, you're working under the 20-mile veterans. They're the vets who've only worked the same 2 or 3 companies within the 20-mile radius, and it's their way or the highway. And what ended up happening was, man, it was a lot of situations where a lot of us was being booked just because we can either one fall in line with what they wanted us to do, regardless of our opinion or not, or
Hmm.
two, how good we can make them look. But they weren't really pushing us. They were push us and then kill us, push us and then kill us. It was the Hogan treatment all over again.
Yeah.
You build somebody up just to put somebody else over, which although that is the game, but it's like, man, at some point we got to start doing something to build new people.
Hmm.
So so not trying to sound arrogant, but I got to toot my own horn on it. I was one of the first ones in my area, and I'm saying it loosely because everybody has their own idea of going out and starting their own wrestling company and all of that stuff. But what I did was I said, instead of starting a company, let's just put on quality events and quality shows. Let's
Yeah.
book people of quality, of caliber, who can come in, put on a dope performance, actually make this thing real and like it's supposed to be, instead of it all being focused on one person. So I was like, man, how can I tie in the general audience for my area? Because Arkansas is known for wrestling in the sense that in the Bible Belt, but it's only Northeast Arkansas going into Memphis and that in the down in the Mississippi on this side. But I'm in Central Arkansas. There's wrestling fans here, but there isn't a wrestling culture. So what I did was I said, hey, how can I pull people in? Hit them with something they know. So my first event, I named it the Battle at the Catalina Wine Mixer. Everybody knows where they reference comes from, to the point where I actually did a commercial with Dale and Brandon singing with wrestling clips saying, hey, come here, come here, come here. Uh, and it worked. It worked. We got get people in. We had women, children, men, husbands, wives, doctors, nurses, preachers, pastors. They all showed up and they showed out for us. The second time it happened, or the second show that I did, I was able to link up with Gangrel. Brought him
Okay.
out here, sold out, great show, and it's something that I'm trying to keep going, man. Instead of trying to run, at least for me, instead of trying to run a full on company, where I got to worry about storylines, progressions, seat attendance, buildings, and stuff like that on a regular basis. Me
Yeah.
personally, I rather run 1 or 2 shows a quarter and do it that way. That way, I'm not locking anybody in, because a big part of us who actually are trying to step into that upper echelon to where our our idols are becoming our peers. We're still traveling too.
Yeah.
So I don't want to set up a situation, at least in my case, to where it's like, hey, you got to work here, but you got to be here every single week. No, man, hit that road, because we know what's out here in Arkansas, next to nothing.
Yeah.
Hit that road, get seen, post some clips, get that video. I'm real big on video clips. Without the video clips, man, nobody would see anything and nobody would care about anything. But get
Yeah.
those video clips, get out, travel, try to get yourself in a credible company and exploit the hell out of the small time that you're gonna get there, because you may not be invited back.
Because I know when because I had to stop wrestling. My body just kind of gave up on me. But when I
Mhm.
was wrestling, it was a group of four of us, and we were in a process of just buying a van. Like all four of us put in for the
Yep.
van, some rinky-dink van. It's just a van that we can just, hey, we're all about to hop in. We're about to go to this town, this town, this town for a weekend, and we're just going to try to get our names like out there. Didn't pan
Yep.
out, but we were still able to get around. Like I tried to make sure I came up to Indiana because I was living in Florida at the time. So I was able to
Mhm.
come up to Indiana. I wrestled in front of my family in Detroit. I got to wrestle MLW dark match. Like it was just always trying to make sure that we could be seen because also in Florida it's oversaturated with
Yep.
wrestling promotions with the performance center being there. Everybody wants to like be close to there,
Yep.
and it was easier to just leave Florida to get seen because on every show you see the same people doing the same stuff, and just like you said, you have those bookers who own like the ring. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna make myself the world champion, and I'm not
And
gonna
I
bring
hate
anybody over." And that was annoying.
and like I get the purpose. I get the purpose of it. So being a book and booking yourself champion, at least in my perspective, because it's always going to be somebody who has a different perspective or a different idea of it. It's just my perspective. It's a double-edged sword. Because if you're the booker, if you're the promoter, you're the owner of that company, you're the most reliable person that you can count on. But at least in my experiences, what I ran into is like, hey, kid, I see you doing great things and blah, blah, blah. You're out there being mentored by Hall of Famers and blah, blah, blah. Come on in. I want you to work my champion. And then you get there and you know how booking matches goes or setting up structuring matches.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I don't want to. I'm not taking any bumps or nah, kid, that don't work for me or this is my company and I'm paying you to come in. It's like, man, we here to work, have fun, do what we supposed to do, get our shit in, and move on.
Yeah,
And it is what it is. Now, if you're bringing me back as a regular, yeah, I care a little bit more because then I'm like, all right, what are we doing to protect both sides of what we're doing or what we're presenting? Man, if I'm coming in at a one off, yeah, I care to a certain extent, but I'm a little more lax on it because I understand it's just a one off. But the booker being the promoter and booking himself champion, I always feel like that's a double edged sword, man. Like because like I said, I'm from the South, man. We was raised on the Ric Flair. We was raised on the Dusties. We was
mm-hmm.
raised on how they would use their status as the world champion to build people up. But there was also a different time too. There was the territory days.
Yeah,
You can be a pseudo champion in one area, come over to another territory, work a program with a kid, bring their kid up, and then you skate by the skin of your teeth, keep your championship, and then go right off into the sunset. But in the eyes of the company where the kid is going to be a regular at, you just made him a superstar.
yeah.
So that's what for me it's a double-edged sword. But some people, man, I hate saying this, but I hate saying it, but I love saying it at the same time. A lot of this, man, is full of people who peaked in high school and they never did nothing else.
Facts, 1,000%. So, how did you come up with Fat Jitsu as a conception?
Um, Cracking jokes. uh, I've always I've always came up doing like kickboxing, judo, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. My oldest brother, he was an army drill instructor. Um, Grandpa old military. So I was like literally in like kickboxing and karate class when I was like 6.
Mm-hmm.
But one day we was in the ring and like I like before I hurt myself, I was legit doing hurricanranas. And I did something, and I was like, man, let me get my foot placement because it was something about the 540 kick. For those who don't know, Trouble in Paradise,
Yeah,
it was something about the 540 kick that I've always loved, whether it was like in a movie, in a wrestling ring, or whatever. Although everybody credits Kofi's, I credit Elite Skipper's because it was something about the way him just being long and the way that he really flared it out to show how long his legs was before he kicked somebody.
yeah,
Uh, but also, I used to love how Bad News Brown would go into his, where he didn't do the 540 kick, he would just do the ghetto blaster, the jumping enziguri. I used to love how he would just kind of jump, barely jump, but he would literally turn his body in the air like this to kick somebody in the back of the head.
Yeah.
So I was working on it one day and just getting my steps down because I was trying to combine the two. And when I finally hit it and it felt flush, I was like, yeah. Somebody was like, damn, his fat ass hit it. I was like, yeah, that's that Fatjitsu right there. And then it was the way it rolled off the tongue so smooth. And then I was like, let me take something that I know everybody's gonna try to use against me when they first see me. Let me turn it into something that's gonna catch their attention because everybody hears Fatjitsu when they think it's a joke, it's a comedy gimmick until they see how I operated in the ring. So I'm like, let me take something that I know they're gonna use against me, make it my actual gimmick, and make it an actual threat when it comes down to anything. Now in my area, when people hear Fatjitsu, they already know, oh yeah, he finna come do some work. Now I can do comedy stuff, but they know at the end of the day is somebody. They know at the end of the day some smash mouth wrestling finna come into play.
So, where are some of the places, promotions, and cities that you visited that you highly enjoy wrestling at?
Man, so I'm not contracted anywhere, but one of my main home bases is Memphis Wrestling, or this iteration of Memphis Wrestling. Um, Anytime I get the call from Booker T to go to reality, I'm there in a heartbeat. Pretty much anywhere though, man. I'm like this. If I can get in front of the crowd for at least an hour before the show, trying to sell merch or find some kind of connection with people, I'm good pretty much anywhere. There are some promotions that I hate going to. And it's just from a simple fact of I don't know how it is in Indiana, but Arkansas is no longer under the athletic commission, and it's a couple of other states around us that are no longer under the restraints of the athletic commission. So anybody can go and get a ring. Anybody can say they're a wrestling promoter. And what it is, man, it's a lot of companies that are full of guys that have no sense of what this really is. There's no training, no real concept of safety, protection, progression, storytelling, or anything. And then somebody like me would come in who has been trained by certain people and still being trained by certain people. When I come in and be like, hey man, I don't think that's the right thing for me to do. You can do it, break your neck all you want to, but I'm not doing it. Some of those guys take offense to it. So has spoke about the promoter thing. It's a double-edged sword for me. I'm in this season where I want to be some of everywhere, but I understand I can't be everywhere at the same time. And I also understand all bookings are not good bookings. So, yeah.
What would you say was the best advice you were given, either in the beginning of wrestling or just like in the midst of you like getting best advice you given?
Literally the exact same thing from both Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe. Be you. A lot of times, I mean, it is what it is. We all have a concept of what we want our characters or how we want to present ourselves to the audience. But a lot of times we have to trust in the booker to take what we present and help us build on the character in the eyes of their audience. Some bookers and some promoters, they don't care. A lot of guys in my area, man, I've been known for doing music forever. And when certain promoters wanted to bring me in, they wanted to bring me in as the rapper guy. And I was like, nah, man, every rapper that I've known in the history of wrestling has been a comedy figure outside of John Cena. And I was like, I don't really want to go down that path, and I want to do something different. We can incorporate elements of the black side or the culture or the hood side of me, but at the same time, I don't want it to turn into a situation to where we're just overly exploited. If you want me to be your new Jack, bring me in and just put me in front of the microphone and let me naturally be me. In Memphis, perfect example. When I first started out in Memphis, they didn't know I could talk, and they were trying to structure my promos, and I was like, nah, man, y'all got to let me just talk. So now it turns into a point to where I get free reign to say whatever I want on the mic off asking one question. One guy was our promos go, one guy in front of the desk talking crap, all this stuff. I come at and I'm like, say, homie, all I need to know is one thing. What size hospital bed you wear? When I said that, the crowd was like, ooh. And the promoter looked at me and was like, oh, snap, he got something. But I also bring by doing that, I'm also able to naturally be funny by bringing in things from the culture or bringing in movie references that I know certain
Mm-hmm.
people ain't gonna recognize. Like literally, I get out there, hey, before we do all this, everybody know what's going on, so I gotta ask my questions. Am I the meanest? Show enough. Am I the hungriest? So like that whole
Yeah.
spiel. When I say that, that whole building goes crazy.
Okay. Okay.
I
Nice.
bring in I bring in all type of hip hop references. How you mentioned MLW. I had a match against a crew, Mads Kruger,
Mm-hmm.
and and I was like, man, I'm gonna put some on him so cold. He gonna wake up asking his mama if he can wear house shoes in an apartment. And the promoter's like, man, I don't even know what that means. And I like what it means is if you ever see me fighting in the forest with a grizzly bear, help that bear. Only certain people caught it, but people of the culture, they was right there with me.
That's one of the funniest TMX songs.
So,
uh,
but yeah,
um,
man, I just like being, I just like take. I don't know. It's the old. We've all watched the like documentaries of like Austin, Rock, and all of them.
mm-hmm.
They always said for them the best characters was people being themselves, just dialing it up to 11. And I honestly believe that, man, because like I said, coming up through doing music, you can see you can go to a show, hear rappers on stage talking about drug dealing and killing, and you can look at them and be like, man, you ain't about that life. And I feel it's the same way when it translates to wrestling.
Yeah, man. I just because I started going back to indie wrestling events, and it's the
Mhm.
same thing that you were saying. It's like a bunch of untrained people. I'm seeing a bunch of loosely trained people doing like the dumbest spots. I'm I get that there's wrestling for everybody, and wrestling is just not one thing. But I'm seeing a lot of younger wrestlers now. Oh, I want to do death matches. I'm like, I don't
Man,
get it. That's ugh.
man, in my area, it's some who feel that every angle has to be capped out with the death match. And I'm like, no, that's not how any of this works.
Yeah,
And like it's one company in my area, man, that ran the company is ran by the guy who introduced me into like going to getting trained and everything.
hmm,
But he knows he has a roster of young guys, and like every blue moon, man, I'll pop an edible and I'll go and I'll just try to sit in the crowd until somebody recognizes me and they'll be like, hey man, why aren't you wrestling? Then I kind of walk off. But
hmm,
man, there was one match that I watched. It was two kids. They were literally hitting Shining Wizard to the back of the head, boom, 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 and popping right back up. No selling, no nothing. And I'm like, bruh, for me, it was like you ever watch a homeboy try to holler at a girl and it's so cringe because it's going so bad.
yeah,
It put me in the mindset of that. Like it was just so, but I know it's for me because I care about it and I want things in my area to be better. But it's like some people you can't talk to, you can't coach them,
hmm,
and it's like, hey man, I've done TV. I'm in one of the wrestling hotbeds. Um, I can scroll through my phone and it's a list of who I randomly contact and be like, hey man, can you critique this? Can you do this? I literally talk to Gabe Sapolsky like once every other month to get instructions on what to do. And
yeah,
it's like, of course, you want to take that and then bring it home and share it with your people to see your people grow with you in as well. But it's like some people that's like, nah, man, I want to get my stuff in. Like watching the 25-minute match of guys hitting move after move after move after move after move. It's like, and as much as I love this company, it's like trying to watch an AEW pay-per-view. It's so much because you got 18 matches with literally the same stuff going on. It's so
hmm.
much. It's hard to stay invested in for me as an audience member. And some of them kids, man, they some get it, but some have no clue.
And yeah, sometimes it's just hard to reach people. What does pro wrestling mean to you?
Mm. When when I have my public speaking engagements and everything, I tell everybody to they have to define their own definition of what success is. And I kind of look at pro wrestling for me in a sense. as the carrot on the top for that statement, because everybody's role is going to be different. Everybody's goals are going to be different. For me, I'm just happy doing something. I don't have a definite goal as to where I want to go, but I just want to push this as far as I can.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I feel like that's what's working for me, opposed to saying I have to get signed by WWE. Everybody's definition is going to be different, but also it's okay to be you. Yeah, I spoke about earlier. What I love about pro wrestling, and you being someone who's been in the ring for yourself, wrestling forces you to take a serious and a real deal look at yourself, from the appearance, the presentation, the mind state, to knowing what you can and can't do, to knowing your limitations and knowing how to bounce around your limitations to still get what you want to do.
Yeah.
For me, pro wrestling fits all of that in a big bowl for me because, all right, like I said, I'm fat. I know what I can and can't do,
Mm-hmm.
but knowing that, I also have the mindset of I know the perception of certain people if they never seen me before, what they're gonna expect out of me. But I also know that my appearance could either help me or be a hindrance to me, because literally Tommy Dreamer told me this. He was like, "Man, I can get you a job right now. The problem is, it's not just up to me. I can show them a picture of you, and the first thing they're gonna say is he's out of shape, and then they're gonna bypass you, because in the aspect, it is still that aesthetic of looking like you don't just come in out the street.
Mm-hmm.
Me, it just is what it is. Yes, I'm a big dude. Um, I work out on a regular basis. All of this stuff, I just don't look it.
Yeah.
Genetics. It is what it is. When I went up to when every time I went up to AW, Demon Link, I walk up, big man, don't throw kicks, but I got to because it's part of my arsenal.
Yeah.
I throw a Shiny Wizard. That's my arsenal. So it's like knowing how people are going to perceive you, knowing the structure that people are going to try to place you in, and finding a way to bounce out of there by still doing what you want to do within the confinements of them. For me, wrestling taught me all of that. Also, like I said earlier, success is based on what you define as. Me being able to meet, hang out, talk with people that I literally grew up watching on TV. Like first time I met Booker and his wife was like, "Hey man," they're like, "Man, you ain't talking." I was like, "Man, I'm just starstruck because I'm sitting in y'all's office talking to y'all, and they treating me like they've been knowing me my whole life."
Mm-hmm.
Sitting down and being able to talk with somebody like Ted DiBiase, just sitting there shooting the shit and he talking to me like he been knowing me for years. My first real name working was Rhino. He was supposed to go. He was like, "Nah, man, I'm gonna make the kid tonight. I'm gonna put him over."
Oh damn.
"Hey kid, how you want to beat me?" I was like, "Well, I don't know." He was like, "Well, what's been the story?" I was like, "Well, I was using a gore to call you out." He was like, "Cool, I'm gonna get a chair. I'm swinging at you, duck it, hit the ropes, hit me with a gore, pin me 1, 2, 3. Now you got people like that opposed to those 20-mile vets I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
"Hey kid, no, I gotta do this, and he got to do this." And I understand you're 6'1", 6'2", almost 400 pounds, and I'm 5'7", 200, but I gotta hit my choke slam. Not on me, you not. But I don't know, man. For me, wrestling put things in a different perspective, business wise, for me, because you had this melting pot of people from all races, creeds, colors, backgrounds, religious or sexual orientations. Almost everybody that I met traveling, or everybody that I met that's I guess you can call it on the independent scale, have
Mm-hmm.
been super cool. All of the bullshit comes from the local veterans or the guys who don't want to travel.
Yeah.
But knowing that I can walk in the building and somebody like MJF like, "Hey man, you're extra. Come over here, bro. This is what we do. This is where we go over here. Y'all gonna meet some such and such over here. If y'all need anything, come holler at me." Boom, and then walk off. But when they show here, "Hey, don't talk to me, you asshat." Like
Yeah.
for somebody like that, the this finna sound crazy. Um, for somebody like a Brock Lesnar walk up like, "Hey kid, you big as hell. I'm L5 in you tonight." Bet. But unfortunately for me, I didn't get to do it because that was when Roman was coming back from his leukemia scare,
Yeah.
in the situation, and he had a scare, and he didn't come, and they were like, "Hey, you still gonna get paid the bump fee, but we're gonna scrap that whole segment." Lesnar was like, "Damn." Lesnar was like, "Damn, I really wanted to throw your big ass too." So it's like being able to talk to people like that, people of their level who have been there, that are who's. For me, that's a success story for me.
Yeah.
Being able to get those pictures. The old schoolers always say, "Man, don't take pictures. You look like a mark. You look like you should be sitting in the crowd asking them for a picture." Man, I don't care about none of that. I'm gonna take my picture. Taking pictures got me cool with Chavo Guerrero, Marty Elias. I got videos with the Pope kicking it with him. I got Enzo Amore's phone number in my phone. Like I said, Buck and Charmel, Boogeyman, like, and they Teddy Long. I smoked the blunt with Teddy Long. Like, like for me, bro, for me, that's the success part of it. Like, but kind of going back to what I was saying about wrestling forcing you to be real about everything. Yes, I would love to get a job and I would love to get a contract. But if a contract came and they were like, "Hey man, we want you to be a backstage producer," I would be totally fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because this wrestling stuff, as much as I love it, that shit hurt.
That I tell my fiance all the time. I was like, "Yo, if I could get me a job doing something behind the scenes, because that's where the real money and the longevity is within wrestling.
Exactly.
It's fun doing being in front of the people, but not having to like wake up in the morning just
Still, don't know if you're back locked up or if you just having sciatica pain.
Yep. So, what do you think is the hardest aspect of wrestling? The physical part or the mental part?
I would say the mental part. With the physical part, man, the physical part, everybody is capable. Everybody is a body. Now, don't get me wrong. There's different levels and different limitations and specifications to those bodies,
Hmm.
but I'm not the only fat guy on the indies who can move. You got shouts out to Memphis. Um, WWE ID prospect Aaron Rodgers, 6'4", 6'5", 420 pounds. This man will hit a suicide dive like it ain't nothing. You got people like a crew of Mass Kruger, 7 foot tall, legit. My guy, Big Trouble Ben Bishop, blowing up the internet right now. Um, he says he's 6'12", 1/4 of a metric ton. His big ass can move, 7'1". But also you got other people, Calvin Tankman. I don't know why Calvin Tankman is not a household name right now.
Same. Like he wrestled last time, or one of the times AEW came down here, he wrestled for ROH, and I was just there like, "Fuck yeah!" He
Yep.
like has been putting in the work. He needs to be seen more.
Man, you got him. You got people like Bojack. Bojack is cold. Um, you got a lot of big guys, man, who can move. Um, Gringo Loco, the white dude. You like,
Little base
although
guy.
although yeah, although he's a little smaller, he's a heavier set dude for his size. You got people like Willie Mack, still cold. Got to kick it with him when I worked for JCW. Congo Kong. Like you got guys like that are all the bigger body size or the big burly types
Hmm.
that can really move, and they can move safely. That's the most important part for me. If I see somebody they like, "Hey man, I want to hit a suicide dive," I'm like, "All right, bro, I need to see you hit the ropes. I need to see how you run. I need to see," because a lot of people, man, they'll say, "Hey, I want to do this and I want to structure this," but they're not thinking we fat. You might be blowed up 12 minutes into the match when you're trying to jump over the top rope, and I need to be able to know you can clear that
Yeah.
after that. So it's stuff like that. Totally unrelated. Shouts out to my girl Ruthless Lala, one of the coldest spinning legs ever. If you don't know about her, look her up. But I don't know why she just came to my mind saying that. But
I'm gonna look her up right now on Twitter.
bro, one of the coldest legs, bro. She's got to be about 5'6", 5'7". She's a little bigger girl, but she capping folks my size and making them do inside out bumps.
Oh wait, I think I do follow her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I've been following her for a minute.
Yep. But but it's like, man, it is big guys, is big girls everywhere that's popping up that can move. I kind of feel like the industry started shifting. I mean, the industry did shift, man. It just is what it is. My people just going off and saying, "Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I'm gonna still do what I do." If it weren't for the mind state, we would have never got a Keith Lee. If it weren't for the mind state, we wouldn't have somebody that's cold right now. We wouldn't have a Jacob Fatu right now. Shouts out to that boy Zilla, because I personally believe he up next. It's a guy that works in for reality wrestling named Ryan Davidson. The guy look like a school teacher, bro. But when that bell ring, he 90 miles an hour from the jump. The whole duration of the match. No slowing down with him. And it's like you got guys like that. And then I've seen guys that like, yeah, man, my finisher is a curb stomp. Cool. Stand on one leg for me. And they can't do it. I'm like, bro, you're not hitting me with that.
See, my favorite thing was people like, oh, what's your finish? I'm like, my finish is to lay on my back and take a 3 count. No one ever kicked out of my finish. It was the best thing in the world. Like I was never afraid to put somebody over because I understand that that's just part of the business. And I was one of the guys who, if you said, hey, I want to do something, I would have you do it to me first. I'm like, okay, I got it. You got it. We can do it. You can toss me around. I can move around. I'm agile. I was like, I love just being in the ring and putting people over. I didn't care if I won because at the end of the day, wins and losses don't mean anything in professional wrestling.
Thank you. Man, I got a lot of flack in my area because I won the Unified Arkansas Heavyweight Championship, right? And I kind of take a little pride in it because I feel like I made it mean something. Because the night I won it, I hopped online and I made a post, and I was like, "Hey, as happy as I am to win the championship in a company that I literally started in, I know these championships don't mean nothing if the people don't care about them." So I was like, "Hey, so I'm gonna put it out in the interest of making our sport great, in the interest of bringing back the art in the structure of professional wrestling. Anybody in the state of Arkansas who's a worker that wants to fight me for this championship, just come fight me. All you got to do is inbox me." Man, when I say I get so much heat behind it, the championships mean that the company invests in you and see bro, it don't mean nothing if it's only 16 people in the crowd.
Yeah.
So what are we really doing? But kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, for those spot shows that we was doing spot shows once or twice a quarter, we're not putting ourselves in a situation where we have to rely on people showing up week in and week out and week in and week out. But we know we're gonna pack the house. And then is nothing for me better than saying your main event is such and such versus such and such for this championship, and then they go out there and kill it. And they're able to convey that story of good guy versus bad guy, heel versus face. Have your interference. Actually structure your false finishes in the correct spots. Have your no sell moments when it's time for them. Get your if you're a baby face, have your no sell moment. Get your shine in. Hit your comeback spot. Your false hope. Big move, boom, pin. 1, 2. Have the heel kick at it at 2.9 seconds. Boom, you got the crowd there. The heel goes up, picks up some brass nuts, goes to hit the face. The face ducks it, hit a super kick, boom, picks them up, hit a jackhammer, boom. 1, 2, 3. Crowd is on top of their feet.
Yep.
It's for me, simple. It's simple stuff that works if you can structure it the right way. And for me, that's what I love about. That's what I love about working shows or events where people actually get it. Not just the people in the crowd, but the workers, they actually get it. Man, I can't really call him a mentor. I can't really call him a mentor, but I'm gonna call him a friend. Some may know about him, some may not know about him, but Derek King.
And we are back. Now I forgot what we were even talking
about. Oh man, I know I was talking about one of the homies.
Yes.
But I forget how we get on to him. Yeah. Something along the lines of just overall performance in the ring and stuff. Um, although he isn't a household name, I feel like he should have been a household name. That's the big homie Derek King. He just retired. For those of you who don't know Derek King has been one of the staples in Memphis for so long, but he's responsible for a lot of heavy hitters that a lot of people don't even know. He don't like me doing this, but I don't care. I believe in giving my people their flowers. He's responsible for Brock, Sheldon Benjamin, Randy Orton, um, Brian Danielson when he was starting out. Um, man, Batista, like he was detrimental in like getting them started in
Mm-hmm.
their initial processes of with somebody like Orton, second generation, third generation, he got it. But like for the others, bringing them into the fold, bringing them into everything, as far as like getting them started and teaching them the structure of how wrestling is supposed to go. Like Kurt Angle's earliest matches was against Derek King, and you can see not necessarily in the mentor process, but you can see where in the ring where something go wrong, Derek could quickly punch him, boom, hit a quick move, hey kid, slow down.
Yeah.
But to this day, Derek is still like that. My first match with him, we worked a 12-minute match. That match consisted of me hitting him with 2 clotheslines, 1 body slam, me throwing a clothesline, him ducking it, and hit me with a super kick. 12 minutes. You know what we was doing the rest of the time? I hit him,
Punch kick.
boom. I go to grab him. No, don't grab me. Go sell to the crowd. Put the crowd over. Make them hate you. Like it's people like that, man. I get praise to because they're the ones that teach us like the little ins and outs. But they put us in a situation where we got to figure out what's going to work for ourselves. I
Mm-hmm.
remember I hit him. He was like, "You see that cop over there? Go get in his face." All right, cool. I slide at the ring, get in the cop face, talk crazy, get in the ring, go to Pete Derrick up. No, just let me lay here. All right. Talk to the crowd. Like, what y'all gonna do? This y'all hero, blah, blah, blah. Pick him up, throw that line, flush, super kick, boom, I sell it, crumble. But if you go back and look at any of his earlier day stuff, he was definitely the workhorse.
Mm-hmm.
He could have easily fit in with the Lance Storm or Hardcore Holly.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, it's crazy saying it. He could have fit in with like Chris Benoit, Perry Saturn, and Eddie Guerrero because that's the type of worker he was.
Yeah.
But he also understood the storytelling part of it. If I'm the face and you're this big heel and you hit me, give me time to sell that. Give me time to show like, hey, that big MF really hit me hard. Give me time to sell it. Like
Mm-hmm.
working with him is what put that aspect of like selling and storytelling in the perspective for me.
Okay. Okay. So when it comes to like the wrestling business, how
Mm-hmm.
hard is it to balance like wrestling and the other priorities that you have in life?
Starting out, it was super tough, especially going through COVID because none of us was working. We didn't know where our next paycheck was coming from. Literally, when COVID hit, yeah, my job, we heard rumblings that my job was about to shut down, but we still worked for like maybe a month or two after
Mm-hmm.
COVID hit. And for me, I was already like, all right, what am I going to do about my living situation? What am I going to do here? Um, I went to school for massage and chiropractic. Man, I scrapped up like 70, $80 when I bought a massage table off Facebook Marketplace. And like I was doing massages through COVID for like old freaky women who just wanted somebody to touch them and stuff just to make my money, man, to pay my next bills. But for me, going through that, I always put it in the perspective of one, I always have some kind of financial cushion.
Mm-hmm.
Two, always be ready for anything and always have some kind of backup plan. So, not trying to put too much of my business out, but I got to a point where I was like, all right, over the course of 2 years, I'm gonna have $10,000 saved up that's just sitting in case anything happens because you never know. Traveling, car problems, your engine can go out at any time. You can blow a tire. I drive a Tahoe on 22-inch rims. Them tires ain't cheap.
Yeah.
So it's like I put that in the perspective for myself. Um, Fortunately for me now, I work a job that my boss is a wrestling fan, and he he kind of
Understands.
yeah, he understands and he appreciates the fact that I'm passionate about what I'm doing with wrestling, but I still come home and make the 9 to 5 work for what's
Mhm.
going on. But I'm fortunate enough to where I also work a job to where I can be anywhere as long as I get internet. So
Okay, okay.
it'll be times to where I'll be down in Florida on like a vacation trip or something, just hanging out with some homies when I live down in Pensacola, and they'd be like, "Hey, KT, we need you to hop on and check something out for us real quick. Pull out my laptop out my bag, hop on, see what's going on, fix what needs to be fixed, and log out and go on about my business."
Hmm.
Um, but they, man, the 9 to 5 always works for me. The hardest part though is and this finna sound crazy. Some fellas y'all might understand this, the dating aspect. If you get to an old lady at home who don't really understand what all we have to give and sacrifice for chasing this elusive dream, it can be a lot of drama. It can be a lot of drama. You can be on the road driving home from a show and she thinking you out of town smashing some chick or something.
Hmm.
Uh, and same thing vice versa. So it's for me the hardest side of it is being balancing like the um the personal relationship aspect of it. Man, there's been birthdays that I've had to skip for working shows, funerals for skipping out on funerals for some of the homies, um, because the big opportunity came. When I went and did AEW, the couple times I've been up there, one of them was on one of my homeboys' birthday who survived a crazy car crash, but he was paralyzed from the waist down. We weren't able to be there for him. He understood it, but his people didn't understand. Um, like I said, dating, missing out on your girl's birthday, because you have to go and do this event or you have to be locked in on the show. Um, Trying to do TV stuff and your girl not understanding why you're not posting certain things or having her just flustered or flounder all over your social media
Yeah.
because she don't understand that. Hey, although we adore the wrestling fans and we appreciate them, some of these wrestling fans are weird and they will go into stalker mode. So it's more of a protective thing, not so much trying to be secretive. But
Hmm.
it's sometimes it's hard to translate that until they actually see a fanatical fan go crazy and try to overpush their boundaries. So
I've seen a lot of that because I used to work when TNA was a Universal all the time. I was
mhm,
working at Ring Crew, and like I would show up when the other workers would show up, and it's just people already there. Like, can you sign this? Can
yep,
you sign this? I'm like, dog,
yep,
what are you doing? Or the fans that are at the airport, I don't know how they get to certain sides
right.
of the airport.
And that's weird. To me,
Like,
that's weird. I remember hearing stories about it. I remember hearing stories about it because it was a Sasha Banks and Mercedes Monet interview where she was talking about that, and she was like, "Man, people will run up on me, and I just don't have it in me no more." And like I understood it, but I didn't. It didn't really click to me until I seen it for the first time.
hmm.
And the first time I seen it was, of course, kicking it with Booker, going out to eat, and we're sitting there talking and trying to figure things out. And somebody just randomly, "Hey man, 5 times, can I get a picture?" The Book was like, "Hey man, not right now, bro. I'm with my people." And that person got mad. And it's like, I don't understand it. But how I spoke about earlier, I come from a music background. Man, I've been around rappers, singers, did security detail for Ludacris when he came down. I was a driver for Big Crit when he came. Seeing that aspect too, it puts you seeing that aspect of it too, it puts you in a security guard mind state. Um, to where it's like, all right, I got to watch my surroundings at all times. Now, me personally, I don't like being up on 10 like that at all times because I like to be a happy-go-lucky guy. But sometimes if I'm going in and out of these, like I said, I'm from the South. If I'm going in and out of these sundown towns,
Yeah.
I have to be on alert at all times because anything can happen at any given time, and I have to be ready. But seeing it from a perspective of somebody who just worked the show, went out there, worked the match, whether it's 5 minutes or 20 minutes. You know they're tired because 9 times out of 10 they had to travel from a different location. They're having to travel back, and the last thing that they want is to be bombarded with people trying to follow them. Who, in my area, it'd be people who don't even come to the shows. They'd be doing it.
Damn, it's like, bro, why don't you just come to the show and help, like, support me there instead of just being in my face.
Yeah. Now I'm at the point to where I'm like, hey, I welcome it in certain aspects. Like if I'm at a gas station and somebody recognizing me, hey bro, what's up? Man, nothing, trying to move these t-shirts, bro. You want to buy one? 115, 2 for 25. I got them in the trunk. Like I'm still mixtape slanging them. But for somebody that's up on their level of their caliber, somebody who has been around the world and that's their life on a regular basis, that's the normal for them, and I understand the frustration behind it.
But before I let you go, I want to thank you for being a part of this. Where can people find you on your social medias? And if a promoter sees this and wants to book you, how can they get a hold of you as well?
So if you type in my name online, K.Toomer. On Facebook, I put my name behind every single status for branding purposes. But if you type in my name anywhere online, I'm always the first person that's going to pull up. Excuse me. Twitter, Instagram, or X for what it's called now. Twitter is K.Toomer70 for Twitter and Instagram. TikTok is K.Toomer, but I don't know what the thing behind it is. But if you type it up or type in Spy Breakdown, you'll be able to pull me up. YouTube, K.Toomer TV. That's where a lot of the music and the acting stuff is going to be placed. I'm pretty much everywhere. For bookers or promoters, if you want to hit me up, it's K.Toomer Fatjitsu at gmail.com, or you can just hit me an inbox on Instagram or Twitter.
And are there any shows that you have coming up within the next 2 to 3 weeks that you want to go ahead and promote?
Yeah, man. This Saturday, man. Every Saturday we air an episode of Memphis Wrestling. We're on episode 214 right now. I'm actually in the ladder match on this episode that's being hosted by Mal Hardy. On the 19th, of course, WrestleMania weekend, but we have a spot out here called Vino's. It's for the southern area, for the chilling circuit. It's a legendary music venue. We got a show there called The Secret of the Booze, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reference. Got a dope lineup, dope card, six match card. Nothing too crazy because we want to be able to get in and get people home. That way they can at least catch up on WrestleMania or night one of WrestleMania. Pretty much that's all I got right now that's really on the book. I know my next big show, at least for me it's a big show, is an anime con down in Tupelo, Mississippi on June 21st. And other than that, I'm just sitting and waiting for the phone to ring from whoever. Now I get some other small independent bookings for companies like small companies here in Arkansas just to get in and get reps. But they're not on the scale of anything to where they're putting out any kind of video product for people to follow.
Okay. But again, thank you for being a part of this, and I will talk to you later.
Hey, appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good one.
Yes, sir.
What does professional wrestling mean to you?
Man, I would say wrestling is everything to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I grew up with it immensely and pretty much defines me who I am as a person. Majority of who I am as a person, actually. You know what I'm saying? I've grown up with it. I don't think I can live life without it. You know what I'm saying? Devoted a lot of time into watching it, now becoming a wrestler, and to hopefully be able to make it and say that, I was a world champion or something along the lines. So, it means the world to me, and then some. I don't think words can really describe it.
Yeah, no.